If you've been listening to the Eat More Carbs podcast, you know that Reilly and I are both in our running era. To make sure that we're properly fueled for training, we're using both carbohydrates and 2Before.
2Before is an all-natural pre-workout designed to enhance athletic performance through the benefits of New Zealand blackcurrant berries. Studies have shown these berries to increase vasodilation and prime the body to kickstart muscle recovery. These antioxidant-rich berries have a sweet and tangy flavor and will level up your performance and recovery. Use code Reilly for 20% off 20 packs and multi-serve packs online at 2before.com.
This is the Eat More Carbs podcast. Hello, this is the Eat More Carbs podcast. I'm Jenna here with Reilly. Today we're going to be playing Holiday Smash or Pass. If you're familiar with Reilly's Instagram account, every year she does a bracket for holiday foods where everyone votes on what their top holiday foods are. So instead of doing that this year, we're playing Holiday Smash or Pass for our favorite holiday foods. But before we get into that, update me on your week. What's going on?
If you have listened to the Eat More Carbs podcast, if you listened to last week's episode, you know that I'm currently in the middle of a move. This week, both my high and my low have to do with my recent weekend trip to Target. First off, Target was insane. I don't know if you've been to Target recently, but I think the entire city of Winston-Salem was at Target. It's not related to the story. My high and my low have to do with that recent trip. We went to Target to kind of start loading up on some of the basics, right? Now that we've moved in, we're trying to declutter, reorganize, donate a lot of things, but then you also need a lot of that random stuff that you don't always think about. So bath mat. Charlie started crawling up the stairs, so we have to get a baby gate. We have to get a high chair because we've been in a temporary high chair because we've been in temporary living. We have to just kind of go and get some of those not really fun basics. We're standing in line. We have our full cart. We're usually self-checkout people, but because we had a whole cart of stuff, we have to stand in line. Because the entire city of Winston-Salem is at Target, the lines are pretty long. We get up to the front of the line. We're kind of prepared for somebody to be a little grumpy who's working. The lines are super long. There's so many people there. I'm just prepared for somebody who's not super happy. It's Sunday afternoon. The guy starts checking us out. He's a guy in his early 20s. He rings up one of our empty little bath trash cans. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're this big. He hasn't really said anything to us. He deadpan looks at Robbie and I and goes, "This trash can reminds me of myself."
Oh no.
Robbie and I look at each other and we're we are not mentally prepared for this. Is this man okay? Again, hasn't said anything. Is this quiet guy? Like I said, younger 20s, hasn't really engaged with us. And our brain, he's totally over it. And then now we're dealing with a little bit of a situation. We're oh my gosh. He follows up and goes, "Yeah, I look like trash on the outside and I'm hollow in the inside."
No.
But a complete joke. Robbie and I just burst out laughing. And this man has decided that we are his target audience. He starts slinging jokes after every single product. Robbie and I are crying, laughing, the dry humor, we were just not prepared for. Everybody else in line thinks we're crazy people because this man is just telling joke after joke now, and we're just eating it up. I'm crying now even thinking about it because he was just slinging the jokes at us. That was the high because that was just completely unexpected, especially with his first joke. We were we're not prepared for this. But it was just a really nice kind of highlight because again, we were in a really busy situation. We've been really stressed out because of the house, and then this guy was super nice and telling us jokes. So that was my high. My low is a follow-up to that. This guy telling us jokes, we're laughing with him, and he looks at the register when we're finished ringing up and goes, "Oh my gosh, oh no." And we're this guy is telling us a joke. He goes, "This is the most money that I've seen somebody spend when I've worked here."
Did you ask him how long he'd worked there? Maybe he was a holiday employee, so it hadn't been a very long time. That would have been my first question.
We're he started today.
Today's the first day.
Yeah. And we were "How long have you worked here?" He's "July."
Oh, not a holiday employee.
Not a holiday employee. And I was did we just spend $3,000? Am I gonna have to put everything back? Am I gonna literally have to Amazon everything?
What did you do? Was it over or under how much you thought it was going to be?
It was $600.
Oh, okay. I was anticipating a lot worse. I didn't want to ask how much it was because I thought it was going to be a four number situation.
It's $600 is a lot of money.
It's still a lot. Yeah.
But there's TVs at Target. There's Xboxes, gaming systems at Target. People are, shopping for holiday gifts. But then I was like, maybe I need to check myself.
I feel like it's so hard to go into Target and spend under $100. And then you have things that you need for your home and for your baby. So like, I don't feel like shocked by that. Like I wouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, I'd have been like, oh shoot, like that's still a lot of money to spend, but it's all things that are necessities for our new home.
Right, because we both love a good deal. I was shocked. But then I was thinking, I was like, have we been trained by Target that now I can go into Target and spend $600 and be like, meh. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I love that this individual had a great sense of humor. I love dry humor. It can be so funny. It reminds me of, why am I telling this story? I had a substitute teacher back in high school, and she was the driest person on the planet, but she was always the substitute teacher that we were hoping we got. I went to a very small high school, so like the pool of substitute teachers was very small to pull from, but it was like, oh, she's there that day. And it was like, oh, heck yes. Like, I'm so excited for this class. Like, she'd be calling off people's names and like telling jokes as she's doing it. She'd be like, Jenna, that's a weird name. Why did your parents name you Jenna? Like stuff like that. Like she was so funny. So anyway, that kind of reminds me of that, but it can just like make like a situation that doesn't feel super fun, or if you're having a bad day, it can really pull you up. So I love that.
Yeah. I think it just ties back to what you always say, where like people join people. And, last week I talked about also like Charlie got a new pediatrician, and it just really changes the experience when you can connect with that individual, or that they just really stick out in your mind, I think.
This really plays into my low from the week, because my low is that we went to a Cardinals game here in Arizona, and something that I have noticed about Arizona and going to sporting events or just being around Arizona is that no one cheers for the home team. And that is really hard. The Cardinals stadium is a big stadium, and over half of the stadium is Seahawks fans. You want to be around like-minded people when you're cheering for a sports team. You want to be around the people that, you're all standing and cheering for the same team. But when everyone around you is cheering for the opposing team that's not the home team, it can feel really hard. And I can't imagine being a player on the field hearing Seahawks chants in what is supposed to be their home stadium. And I've been guilty of this, because when the Colorado Avalanche came to play the Coyotes, when the Coyotes were still here, I was cheering for the Avalanche, and most of that arena was cheering for the Avalanche. And now I'm like on the other side of things, where I was like, okay, I'm not a Seahawks fan, nor am I a Cardinals fan, so I'm just going to go with the home team. That's what we're going to do because that's where we live. It made me kind of sad, but like most people from Arizona like aren't really from here. They're like me and have moved here later in life. So it's just kind of an interesting thing to see when you go to a home stadium and it's not a home game. Really interesting.
That's how LA was. We would go to a game and the entire stadium would be the other team, and it was very, very shocking in the beginning to us.
Yeah. I think it's even like supposedly, I haven't been to any professional, well, other than the Galaxy game we went to together in Los Angeles, I haven't been to professional sporting events in Los Angeles, but I've heard it's even worse there because of kind of a similar situation where teams aren't really like from there quite yet. Los Angeles, all the sporting teams are much newer. So it's really interesting when you think about like people join people and all of that kind of connection that there is with even going to something like a sporting game. So that was my low. My high is, though, kind of still playing off of that. My brother was in town. My brother and I are really close. We also both really love Thai food, even though most of the time when we have family or friends come to visit, like I'm cooking because I like to cook and I like to host. We decided that we were going to try to find the best Thai food. So we went to 2 new Thai restaurants here, and they were both so good. So we had some great food. So that's my high, is just that we had good food and good company.
I love that. And on the topic of Eric, how is he feeling about his half coming up in the next couple of weeks?
Oh my gosh, this is so funny that you ask about this, being the fact that we do share our training updates, where we're just sharing a little bit about what's going on with our training as we lead into our half marathon. My brother is running the Phoenix half with my husband and I, just more of a party pace. We're having a good time with it. We did train and run together while he was here. We did 7 miles. That's the longest he has run leading into this race. He definitely isn't as much of a runner as I am, but I think he's going to be okay. He's just a little bit nervous about the distance, but I think it'll be all good. What about you? What does training look like for you this week?
This is so funny that you kind of mentioned him being a little bit nervous about the distance, because the race that I'm training for right now is the rock and roll half in March in DC, and I'm running that with my sister, and that's going to be more party pace as well. And it was really funny because we get emails probably like on a weekly basis, and the last email that we got was like a course outline. My sister sent it to me and goes, "This looks really long. It is 13.1 miles." Madison.
It's not a short distance.
I really love the half distance though, because you are able to, I feel like, get faster with the half distance, and you're also able to do other things. And that's kind of what I've also been focused on this week, is slowly incorporating some more of that strength training. With the move now, I have my home gym back, which I'm really excited. So I'll be continuing to lift about 3 days a week, and then running probably 3 days over the weekday, and then I'll do a longer run. But a lot of my shorter runs right now are interval based. So like fartlek work, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and doing some of those shorter track workouts as well.
Love it. Something that's a little bit different about us today is that we're not in our typical uniform for recording the podcast. We're really excited for the holidays, but we're both in our Christmas sweaters. So Reilly, show off your sweater and tell us the story. Like, where does the sweater come from? Where did you get it?
So this is my Christmas sweater for this year. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law actually got it for me from like a vintage store in New York. It's a tacky sweater, but it's also a soccer jersey. So it has a number on the back. It's a Brazilian player, and they actually got it for me because it's black and white, and they like know that I love to wear black clothing. So they solely got it for me because it's black and white, but it has some snowflakes on it, and it's a jersey, and it's Christmas themed. So thank you guys for the sweater. What about yours? I see this. I do not know what is on there. I need you to pull it up.
Okay. My Christmas sweater says, "All I want for Christmas is Steve Harrington." Do you know who Steve Harrington is?
I have no idea who Steve Harrington is.
So this is quite a story. This Christmas sweater is going on maybe 7 years old, I want to say. Me and my best friend from Oklahoma, Katie, we gifted these to one another. This is when we both worked at Lululemon, and we needed funky, fun Christmas sweaters to wear to the store for holiday work. And at the time, season 2 of Stranger Things came out. And in Stranger Things is a character named Steve Harrington. So that is why I have this Christmas sweater. It was before I met my husband that I got this Christmas sweater, and he absolutely hates it. I can't imagine why. But I wonder if it's because it says another man's name on it, and that's all I want for Christmas. So both me and my best friend have these because we gifted them to one another.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, today we're playing Holiday Smash or Pass for holiday foods. So kick us off. What are we smashing or passing?
All right, so what I did is I did a very intensive Google search, and I looked up the top 10 holiday foods that people like to enjoy for Christmas and just during the holiday period of time. And I thought we could start off with last year's winner of the carb challenge. It actually made the list. And last year's winner of our carbohydrate challenge that we host on Instagram was cinnamon rolls. Jenna, are we smashing cinnamon rolls, or are we passing on the cinnamon rolls?
Smash all the way. My mom makes homemade cinnamon rolls for our Christmas morning brunch every year, and I look forward to them all year long. They are so good. So good.
Robbie's mom also makes cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning. We usually do Christmas with my family now, and then we'll do like New Year's Eve with his family, but she waits to make the cinnamon rolls until a couple days after Christmas so we can like do the Christmas setup a couple days later with the cinnamon rolls.
Christmas cinnamon rolls, there's just something about them.
So good. Sticking to our carbohydrate theme, because this is the Eat More Carbs podcast, what about sweet potatoes? Like, are we smashing or passing on a sweet potato casserole?
Pass.
I'm passing too.
Okay, the reason I say pass is because I'm super picky about sweet potatoes. I don't like a sweet potato situation, like the ones with the pecans and marshmallows, and like that is not for me. That's not my jam. I don't like it. But if it's a savory sweet potato dish, which I feel like is less popular, I'm probably going to try it, but it's definitely not going to be my favorite thing. Like that's not my carb choice that I'm putting on my holiday plate. Like I'm going to pass, and I'm going to do something else.
What are you putting on your plate then?
Like if there's some type of like mac and cheese, I want that for sure. And then I probably want some type of like roll too. Like that's going to be the things that I'm going towards for a holiday meal. I feel like holiday meal tends to be pretty similar to Thanksgiving for most people. Like there's like a ham or turkey or some protein like that. So I feel like I'm pretty safe with saying that those ones will likely be included. Those would probably be mine. What about you?
I'm also passing on the sweet potato, because I don't love like a sweet and savory combo. If I'm gonna eat sweet, like I want it to be like my dessert, and I want it to be sweet. And then if I'm gonna eat like a savory meal, I want it to be savory. So I'm also gonna pass on the sweet potatoes, because I'd rather put like stuffing or rolls on my plate instead. Or the mac and cheese. That is such a good shout. I didn't even have that on my list, but I love a good mac and cheese.
So do I. I love pasta. Like I think if you were to ask me if I like had to pick one food for the rest of my life, like what would it be? It'd probably be pasta. Like I would probably just say buttered noodles.
You would be so proud. Charlie's favorite food is pasta.
Oh, heck yeah, girly. That's my girl.
I'm just like, I'm such a proud mom. Thank you. Thank you for loving carbs as much as I do. with carbohydrates, we have to kind of stay on that theme right now. What about gingerbread? Are you smashing or are you passing gingerbread?
Oh, this is kind of tough for me. Oh, dang. I think I'm going to smash.
Okay. What's your reasoning?
My parents hate ginger, so I never really had. That sounds really bad. That sounds so bad. But they never really had like gingerbread things like growing up in our house. So it's not really like a traditional thing that we have. But my mom always makes gingerbread houses. Like she makes them from scratch. Like she has the mold, she does the whole thing, and it makes the house smell so good. I really like that side of it because it's kind of like a nostalgic smell for me, even though we don't really eat a lot of gingerbread in my house, and I would be totally fine with it as long as it's not like in my coffee. Like I don't want a coffee that
you don't want like a gingerbread latte.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. No. But like if it's like a tasteful gingerbread cookie, like I'm probably gonna have it.
I also do not like ginger. Robbie loves ginger, and that man like steals my ginger off of my sushi plate as fast as possible, which is fine because I don't want it. But I think I would smash also a gingerbread cookie if it's soft and has icing.
Oh yeah, well 100%. The whole reason I'm eating cookies is because of the icing. Like let's be clear. Like my favorite cookies are the ones with the most icing. Don't come at me with a cookie without icing on it. That's not me. It has to also be soft. Like I don't like crunchy cookies of any kind.
Right. Like I'm not eating the chunk of, I'm not like breaking off a piece of gingerbread from the gingerbread house. Like I am, It has to be a gingerbread cookie, preferably in gingerbread man form with icing on it.
Yes, I'm with you on that 100%.
Sticking to our dessert theme, what about eggnog? Are we smashing or are we passing?
This one's easy for me. It's pass.
Hard pass.
What about you?
I have never had it, but I don't think I can do it. Like if I, something happened to me and I had to go tomorrow, I would never regret that I had not had eggnog.
From my personal preferences, I would say that you didn't miss out on much because it's not my favorite. To each their own. I know some people really love it, but it's not for me.
I should also try it. Like I'm just being a bad sport. But the fact that you're like drinking eggs, like all I can think about is people cracking eggs like in orange juice and like chugging it. And that's all I can think about. I can't get past it.
No. To me, it also kind of has like a weird flavor that I associate with like bubble gum. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm drinking like that like pink bubble gum. I don't know if that's just me or if that's like a thing, but like for some reason that's like the flavor. Maybe I'm having really crappy eggnog. I don't know, but like after trying it like a time or two, I was like, think I'm good. Like it's not for me.
Is it thick? I
feel like yes. Yeah.
It's gonna be a no for me. No, thank you. What about mulled wine? Have you ever had mulled wine? Are we smashing it or passing it?
Like spiced? Like, okay, smash. What about you? Oh, the video feed answered for Reilly if you're watching.
I do love a wine. I haven't really been drinking a lot over the past couple of years, obviously because we were trying to get pregnant and then I was pregnant, and now I just don't like really drinking because I have a child now that I'm responsible for. So I do like a wine. I haven't had it in a long time, but if I was to have a glass of something, I like a spiced wine. I would also smash this. You mentioned earlier that Christmas dinner is similar to, maybe like a Thanksgiving dinner. So are you smashing or passing on like a turkey dinner? Like, are you doing a turkey dinner or would you rather have roast beef or ham?
I would rather have something completely different. Like my least favorite thing about Thanksgiving dinner is the turkey. I just like, it's not my favorite form of protein. I'd much rather have something else. Like I'd probably rather have like a rotisserie chicken on Thanksgiving than turkey. Like I'm not really into it. And then I also really don't like ham. And I think it's because it's super salty a lot of times. I don't know if that's just like I'm a sensitive to salt kind of a situation with my, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. So I'd prefer if we had like a brisket or something like that, or just something like completely different that's not super traditional. So
we should have done Thanksgiving smash or pass, and I should have asked you about turkey. The people would have never believed it.
I know. I don't like it. That's why every year, like we always have leftover turkey. So I'm always trying to come up with some type of a recipe where I can reuse it because I don't want it to go bad. And I know that other people really like turkey, so I'm not going to not have it at Thanksgiving, but I need to find a different way to eat it because like just plain turkey for me, I'm just like, I'm not going to eat something that I don't enjoy.
If you are listening to the Eat More Carbs podcast for the first time and you are not familiar with Jenna's Instagram, you have to go check out some of her recipes. On this topic, she made like a really great turkey Caesar wrap. So you have to make sure that y'all go check that out. Going back to some more traditionally holiday foods, or specifically Christmas, what about like a Christmas pudding? Are we doing a Christmas pudding?
I don't know that I've ever really had a Christmas pudding, so I'm going to pass.
Pass? I'm
Yeah, what
also
about
going to
you?
pass. I feel like
Okay.
there's other options. Like there's just things that I'd rather eat instead.
Isn't it in the Grinch, the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch, where they have like a bunch of Christmas pudding that they make him taste?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's a traditionally British thing. Don't come for me if you're listening to this and I'm completely wrong, but I feel like it's a traditionally British thing. And so that's why I think I had it a lot growing up.
Like pudding?
Like Christmas pudding.
This might be a dumb question, but like, how is it different from regular pudding? Is it different from regular pudding?
It's not, it's like a loaf. It's like a cake. It's not like, it's not like Jello pudding.
Not like a pudding cup.
Yeah. Okay, y'all will
like-
have to let us know if you're listening and we're completely wrong. You have to like let us know. But I do think it is like a cake. That is what I've thought about because we used to like douse it in like alcohol and then light it on fire.
Isn't that flambe when they do that? Is that what that's called?
We're not that fancy. I don't think so.
I don't know. So let us know. If you know, let us know. I've not had that for Christmas.
Yeah, let us know if we're missing out. We might be having an Eat More Carbs episode where we're just drinking eggnog and eating Christmas pudding because we were completely wrong on our choices. So what about an apple pie? Are we smashing or passing an apple pie?
Ooh, can I add a caveat to it?
Of course. Did you hear my gingerbread?
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay. It has to be cold. I have to have cold apple pie and then I'm going to smash.
Oh my gosh. Are you putting ice cream on your cold apple pie?
I would probably put Cool Whip on it and not Ready Whip. It has to be Cool Whip. Like I'm not a spray can of Ready Whip. No. Like I have to have Cool Whip on it. Then I would be good with that. But it has to be cold apple pie. I prefer apple pie cold.
Wow. Okay. I am not an apple pie person, so I'm going to pass on apple pie.
You tried it cold though.
Yes, because sometimes I'll go in, the fridge and take a scoop out of it, if I need a bite of something. But I'd rather eat other things. Like I'm a big sugar cookie person. Like I'm a cookie person. And this kind of goes back to what we talked about, but like it doesn't have icing on it.
That's true. Yeah. But I'm using the Cool Whip as like low key icing. So
I just would rather eat, like I need like a thick layer of icing. So I just would rather eat something else. So I'm going to pass.
okay. I love that.
The last one is candy canes. Are you smashing or passing candy canes?
Okay. I did this already where I was like not necessarily looking at it from like an eating standpoint because I love like candy cane decorations and I think that candy canes are pretty and like I'm going to put them on my gingerbread house when I decorate it. But like from a consuming candy cane standpoint, pass.
I think I'm also going to pass because I think I love the idea of a candy cane. Like I always want to get them to put on my tree and then I always have like 30 left over and it's July and I have them sitting at the back of my pantry.
And to me, candy cane is like sweet toothpaste that you're supposed to eat. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a mint thing for me in that sense. I don't know. Which is funny because I love like mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's totally different for me. But like a candy cane, it's just not. It's same thing again. We're kind of going back to like preferences. Would I rather have something else? And it's like 100%. Like I would rather have something else over a candy cane. Like it's just not my fave.
Now every time I look at candy canes, I'm going to think of toothpaste, and every time I look at eggnog, I'm going to think of bubblegum.
Okay. Well, I've ruined foods for you today.
Just don't come for my soft gingerbread cookies with icing on them. Like, it's fine.
Any cookie with icing on it is like, it's playable for me for sure. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Eat More Carbs podcast. Thank you again so much for listening. Like we've mentioned these past couple of weeks, we wouldn't be here without you guys liking, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing these episodes with friends and family members. It means so much to Reilly and I that we get to come on here every week and share a little bit about nutrition, a little bit into our corner with nutrition and a food forward, positive approach to nutrition. So thank you again so much for listening. If you have questions for Reilly and I, you can always leave them in the comments of this podcast episode, or you can find us on Instagram. You can find Reilly at easy.sports.nutrition, and you can find me at jenna.fisher.nutrition. Thanks again for listening. As always, remember to eat more carbs.